Why would you do that?
We're in the Endgame now.
I am Warstu. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a pretty awesome video on Avengers Endgame. So, there is an article going around. It's on Collider, but the source material actually comes from Cinemablend. And it's quite an interesting article. It's not a normal video I would make. And the headline of this is, Robert Downey Jr. initially didn't want to say the final line, which is interesting. So, according to Anthony Russo, originally when he snapped, he didn't say, I am Iron Man. The idea came while we were in post-production. Our editor, Jeff Ford, Joe Russo. We were sitting on the editorial table and we were reworking the sequence. And Thanos says, I am inevitable. And we were like, we need a response to that. What is the response to that? And our editor said, what about Iron Man? And we were like, that's it. Anthony, we must shoot that. We have to shoot that. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Avengers Endgame. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. We're currently giving away a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet, so you can do your own Iron Man line yourself if you want. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and let me down below. Pretty crazy that this line never was intended to end up in the movie. And also, if we ever hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One or a PS5 or the new Xbox, whatever they call it. Why am I mentioning the PS5? Because it could take us 2020 to hit this number. So that is what the prize could be if we do ever hit 100,000 subscribers. So make sure to stay tuned to the channel. So let's go on. So essentially, Robert Downey Jr. was very reluctant to go back for a reshoot. It took some convincing from POW and legendary producer Joel Silver to make it happen, which is interesting. So you've got to thank Joel Silver for the callback to Iron Man 1 when he came out and said, I am Iron Man. So it is a quite interesting story. So it says here, it's an interesting story. I had dinner with Robert Downey Jr. like 2 weeks ago before we were supposed to shoot it. And he was like, I don't know. I don't really want to go back and get into that emotional state it takes. It's hard. And crazily enough, Joel Silver, the producer, was like at dinner, he's an old buddy of Robert's. And Joel jumped in and he's like, Robert, what are you even talking about? That's the greatest line I've ever heard. You've got to say this line. You've just got to do it. So thank God that Joel Silver was at dinner because he helped us talk Robert into doing that line. So that's how you got the greatest closing line out of Tony Stark, minus his hologram farewell afterwards. So the source of this is Collider, but essentially it says it from Cinemablend. So this is very, very interesting because the I am Iron Man line is even more famous now. It's essentially the ending of the movie. It's the true ending of the movie. Like I said, I wouldn't normally make a video like this, but it's gonna be, if it isn't already, such a famous, such a pinnacle line. Robert Downey Jr. will be known for the I am Iron Man line. Again, he was already known from it in Iron Man 1, but he had to say it again. And I understand why. Obviously, that scene for him must have been gut-wrenching, must have been heartbreaking. So essentially, it said at the start that it was never in the scene. So he had to get into that scene. He had to essentially snap his finger and get into that emotional state because Iron Man looked absolutely distraught. He looked like he got PTSD. He looked like an emotional wreck during that whole scene. And I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray 4K. It's going to be insane to watch over and over and over again. Interesting enough, I'd love to know how many times you've watched Endgame. Me here personally at the Warstu channel, I've only watched it 3 times. But it is one of the saddest scenes of the whole movie. But it's also one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. I am Iron Man. And then boom, snaps his finger. It's just astonishing that this scene nearly was left at the chopping board. Nearly didn't even make it into the movie. Because if you were to tell me that scene when he said, I am Iron Man, or I am Batman, I don't know which one. Yeah, obviously it's not I am Batman, I'm trying to be funny. But obviously this scene was never, ever supposed to be in a movie. Which is very interesting. Let me know down below, guys, what do you think? So, recently, the Russo bros have been answering a bunch of questions, which is kind of weird, because they're now saying, you can talk spoilers. We are officially allowing you to talk spoilers. Now, I don't have a problem with this, because obviously they made the movie, but should they be given the right to say, you can ruin the movie for everyone now, because it's 2 weeks later, you can ruin the movie for everyone. Just because Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is coming out and it's going to spoil your movie, you're telling everyone they can give spoilers. You can now give open spoilers without tags. Should they have so much power that they can be like, yeah, spoilers. You got to watch it or else you're going to get it ruined. Well, what happens if you're in a financial situation where you really want to watch the movie, you just can't afford to watch it? So it is really bad practice in my opinion. They shouldn't say, yes, you can now give spoilers. They should have said, yes, it's cool to speak spoilers, but please don't go out your way to spoil the movie for some people. Because some people don't really generally watch the movie because it's going to be at cinema for at least 2-3 months. So realistically, they're saying you can ruin it. You can't ruin it after the embargo list though, because you're a douche. But you can ruin it now. It's been out for 2 weeks. I understand if you are a true fan, but I don't believe this statement. If you are a true fan, it doesn't matter if you're a true fan. Even if you are a true fan, if you cannot physically afford to go and watch this movie, that does not make you any less of a fan. Because remember, these movies are made on comic books, right? If you're a real fan of the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Comics, you don't even have to watch the movies because the movies are completely different to the comic books and vice versa. So also in the news, so Catherine Langford, I mean, initially, guys, I thought she was in the movie because if you go back and rewatch the dining scene, you know, when Hulk's taking selfies and yeah, they've completely ruined his character. And I know some of you guys are not happy with your boy Warstu saying that, but that is just how I feel. So if you look outside, there is a girl that looks like the spitting image of 13 Reasons Why star Catherine Langford. Now, it could be her twin sister, but I don't believe she has one. And she's not a massive actor, because if you were to say anyone that's never seen the Netflix series, you would not know who she is. So I still believe, guys, that it is Catherine Langford. But at the same time, why would the Russo bros lie now? I mean, they've already said the movie wasn't Endgame when it was Endgame, but realistically, if you've seen the news today, the movie was actually called Infinity Gauntlet for the longest duration of the whole project. That's why the actress that plays Gamora actually said Infinity Gauntlet, because that was the working title, that was the title they had. So yeah, believe the Russo bros. So initially what they said was she was meant to be a future older version of Tony Stark's daughter, Morgan Stark, a grown-up version who forgave her father for what he did even though he saved the world. So it is interesting that she had such a pinnacle role, but if Catherine Langford is going to play a variation of Tony Stark's daughter, Morgan Stark, who could easily become the next Iron Man or Ironheart, it's going to be hard to pull off because obviously this movie is set in 2023, but she's only like 5 years old when the movie ends, and that's still 2023. So if Catherine Langford was actually going to play this role going forward, it would have to be set in the multiverse or set in an alternate timeline where her character would be like 15 years older or 20 years older. So it is a massive shame because they made a big deal about it. All the publications, all the outlets made a massive deal about having a scoop of Catherine Langford appearing in Endgame. And realistically, she didn't appear in Endgame. Or did she? It is very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I'd love to know, guys, do you agree with me that it is Catherine Langford outside of the diner in this scene? Now, I can't screen cap it because obviously copyright and that kind of stuff. But if you do go watch the movie, just make sure you focus outside in the scene. It looks like a spitting image of her. So guys, like always, let me know everything you think about the video. Did you ever think that this movie wasn't going to end with I am Iron Man? I mean, that was so obvious when he says I am inevitable. He had to like reciprocate with I am Iron Man. It was like it going full circle because obviously he came out in Iron Man 1 saying, yeah, actually, I'm Iron Man. And it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment. And other TV shows like Arrow have replicated it when Arrow came out and said, I am the Green Arrow. So other TV shows have replicated the I am Iron Man scenario in their own universe, which is fantastic because the part in Arrow when he came out and said, yeah, I am the Green Arrow was literally an Easter egg for I Am Iron Man, which is pretty cool. So it's going to be a pop culture thing, the whole I Am Iron Man line. It is such an iconic and famous line. Everyone loved that part, although literally the I Am Iron Man finger snap is world famous, but also it killed him doing it. He could not retain, he could not take the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. It was so obvious, guys. Why? Because it nearly destroyed Thanos, it nearly destroyed the Hulk. So of course, a human being, although he was in the Mark 85, the nanotech beast of a suit, he still couldn't wield the full power without it killing him, without them having the scene that replicated the "I don't want to go, Tony Stark" line. And in this case, it was Spider-Man saying it the other way around, "I don't want you to go." And Iron Man was just out of it. It must have been emotionally draining for him in that scene. He literally looked dead. He was like, it was so good acting. It was probably the best scene in the movie. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe and comment. Let me know everything you think about the video down below. If you want me to do more videos like this, I will be doing them, because the Russo bros are coming out with lots of things, and there's so many theories coming out of the multiverse, coming out of the Spider-Man Far From Home latest trailer. We're getting casting news for potential Rob Stark. Yeah, I know that's an Easter egg, being cast in the Eternals movie. There's so much happening with Marvel Phase 4, if they're going to call it that. And also, Disney's just released a massive slate. I'll be doing a video on it tomorrow where we go over, there's lots of dates they've given for movies. So it's looking like potentially we are getting at least 2 Marvel movies next year. If that is the case, they're going to have to start shooting very soon. Now, us on the channel think it's going to be the Eternals and Black Widow project, but it's unconfirmed and not verified. But we will know in the next few months if that's going to happen, because to get a movie out for next year, they're going to have to start shooting in the next few months. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe and comment. I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch ya later.